Ladies and gentlemen, get ready because what I'm about to share will make you gasp and make you reevaluate all you believe to be true about the realms of power, family, and celebrity. Consider this. Rap royalty T.I.'s son, King Harris, is currently fighting for his life in a hospital bed following a vicious, quite unthinkable jail attack. How did this happen? Was the altercation with the guards violent? A planned setup or something more sinister that's going on behind the scenes? And while his own son was on the verge of death, where was T, the Southern King? As shocking footage of scenes no parent should ever have to witness surfaces, phones are ringing, social media is on fire, and the internet has gone into meltdown. Fans are crying and families are. The world looks on helplessly as a young man's life is in a state of fear. Who could have imagined that the son of a rap magnate would find himself in this situation, caught up in a nightmare that reads more like a thriller than actual events? Now, every whispered conspiracy, leak, and rumor is amplified. Was this an unfortunate mishap? Or is a disastrous betrayal being planned by someone? Above all, will King Harris be able to endure the evil that has been revealed? Or is this going to be the night that makes all the difference? The narrative you are about to hear will shock, frighten, and make you wonder about power, loyalty, and the very definition of family. So stay with me. Long before King Harris entered that prison, the mayhem began. Insiders, adversaries, and friends. They were all aware that there were simmering tensions. A waiting spark for a ticking time bomb. And no one anticipated that spark. The son of a rap legend and a rising star, King Harris suddenly found himself at the center of the most shocking scandal in hip-hop history. How does a young man whose life has been staged for public consumption end up struggling to survive against those who are supposed to enforce the law? Everyone wants to speculate on the question, but nobody wants to answer it. According to people close to the prison, the attack wasn't a random one. According to witnesses, the on-duty guards went above and beyond the call of duty by allegedly launching a concerted attack on King Harris. Rumor has it that the system's long-standing animosities, jealousy, and resentment may have contributed. Despite his well-known last name, King is rumored to have received the same treatment as other prisoners, albeit with a deliberate intensity meant to convey a message. King is on the brink of death, but who gains from that? Everyone is asking that million-dollar question at the moment. King's father, Ty, meantime, was said to be agitated, frantic, begging, and becoming more outspoken on the internet. He has criticized authorities, asked for answers, and even threatened to take legal action. Videos of T.I. yelling into his phone, his emotions unadulterated and unrestrained, pleading with anybody who would listen to keep his son safe, went viral on social media. Anyone's stomach would plummet at the sight of that alone. The stakes are much higher when the father is a worldwide rap icon, but a parent's panic is universal. As T.I.'s online statements depicted a system failing a family in difficulty, fans watched in shock. The video itself is heartbreaking. Videos that have been obtained online depict tumultuous hallways, fistfights, and the commotion of guards acting violently. In certain images, King Harris is hardly recognizable as he fights against overwhelming assault, while other prisoners are said to be watching, either unwilling to help or paralyzed by terror. Social media responded immediately, with opinions ranging from indignation to shock. The video, according to some enthusiasts, seems too produced to be authentic. Others think that it demonstrates a purposeful plot. The emotional impact is undeniable, regardless of your stance. The world feels powerless as millions watch a young man's life suddenly go out of control in real time. The rumors are stoking the flames, pertaining to the attack's cause. Because King Harris has familial ties, there are rumors that someone may have released private information about him. Was it a nefarious attempt to make a spectacle of someone so prominent? Or was it something personal or professional? Online insiders and analysts have been quick to make assumptions, sparking contentious discussions, conspiracy theories, and viral threads. Everybody has a notion, and they all appear more sinister than the others. Within hours, the story changed from a prison brawl to a comprehensive inquiry into power abuse, intimidation, and corruption. T.I. didn't keep quiet while King fought for his life. According to several accounts, he used all of his contacts, including private investigators and attorneys, to try to figure out who planned the attack. According to some insiders, T was afraid of a much larger game was being played with their own son as a pawn. A game that might endanger King's entire family business. Discussions concerning political leverage, covert objectives, and payoffs began to surface on blogs and forums. Fans wondered if this was about money, retaliation, or a long-brewing grudge. as each purported detail became more stunning than the last. The entire inner circle of King Harris has been rocked. According to reports, once loyal friends withdrew, fearing that being linked to the drama would place them in danger, or at the very least, in the midst of a media storm too strong to endure. Every social media post King has made in the last 12 months has been examined. All public appearances are examined for subliminal meanings. Following this incident, the same posts are now being reframed as warnings, confessions, or even premonition. While the person is still alive and struggling to see another morning, it's a digital autopsy of their life. And King is not the only person bearing the emotional burden. According to reports, his family is going through one of the most devastating times in history. The Harris home suddenly became a scene of tragedy rather than a representation of money, power, and influence. Anxious phone calls, weeping vigils, and restless nights are all described by sources. Private desperation mirrors that of the public, and every day that passes without any new information on King's condition seems to drag on forever. Although there have been supportive responses from fans on Instagram and Twitter, the underlying horror cannot be concealed. The father who created an empire on power and control now faces his worst fear, helplessness, as a young life is in danger. The timeliness of the story is what makes it even more explosive. According to reports, the attack happened soon after King became embroiled in a court dispute related to other well-known occurrences. According to rumors, some groups inside the jail system and outside influencers who had an interest in his outcome might have thought this was the ideal time to take action. The level of speculation has risen to the point where it now dominates online discussions. Every news report, insider tip, and leaked excerpt heightens the suspense and gives the audience more reasons to be emotionally affected. Medical crews were reportedly overburdened soon after the attack, according to anonymous insiders. In order to calm King Harris in the midst of chaos, ICU staff reportedly had to make snap judgments. Online rumors of potentially fatal injuries, unreported trauma, and emergency procedures have spread, making the tale go viral. Territory. The emotional connection is straightforward for a lot of viewers. A young man caught in a life-or-death situation while his father, whose name alone draws attention, begs for his salvation. The scandal is irresistibly appealing because of the situation's unadulterated humanity. Social media has evolved into a mourning ground as well as a battlefield. Timelines are flooded with screenshots, videos, and purported insider knowledge, along with hashtags like #SaveKing, #TI Praise, and #ICO Drama. Responses range from fervent discussions on who is really to blame to frantic prayers. Some allege carelessness, some point to a plot to undermine the Harris family, and some even cast doubt on the legitimacy of the criminal justice system as a whole. There is no denying that the emotional impact is profound. The industry responds in hushed tones while fans vent their frustrations on the internet. According to reports, influencers, label reps, and music professionals discuss the ramifications in private. Is King still alive? If not, what does that signify for T.I.'s legacy, current initiatives, and family brand? There are countless questions, and each response, or lack thereof, feeds the story. This is no longer merely for amusement. The story touches on the core themes of survival, family, and celebrity. King Harris apparently attempted to send cryptic signals in the midst of this commotion. Allegedly released online were brief posts and private direct messages that alluded to anxiety, uncertainty, and a fervent wish for safety. According to some insiders, these communications offer startling insight into the thoughts of a person who is stuck in a system that appears to be trying to break him. Every word, emoji, and pause is examined by fans, who utilize every element to create a viral talking point. The stakes for T.I., the father, the king, and the celebrity, however, must not be overlooked. Now he must endure a moral and emotional ordeal that few can fully understand. Private investigations, online declarations, and public appearances all indicate a preoccupation with keeping King safe at any costs. For T.I., reputation and heritage are no longer the only factors in the fight. It concerns survival, life, and the debilitating weight of powerlessness. The first 24 hours unfolded, leaks kept coming to light. The internet was inundated with eyewitness accounts, audio snippets, and even surveillance footage. Millions of people were drawn deeper into a story that felt both urgent and intolerable, with each new piece of information, which seemed to increase the emotional intensity. Was King the target? Was I wrong? Or is there a secret agent behind the scenes planning everything? Now, every media outlet, fan, and insider waits in suspense. It's unclear what will happen to King Harris. According to reports, doctors struggle to keep him stable. While the world struggles to comprehend the drama playing out in real time, T.I. struggles to comprehend the pandemonium. The story is far from finished, and the emotional stakes could not be higher. This is where the story prepares for the following stage. Perhaps the attack was only the start. There are rumors of betrayal, corruption, and conspiracy starting to circulate. Shadowy characters, covert affiliations, and purported motivations all imply that this is about more than one violent act. It's a complex web of risk, influence, and heartache that might engulf all parties. One terrifying fact marks the conclusion of this saga's first part. King Harris's health is still critical. The world is left holding its breath as Ty keeps making public pleas. There are questions greater than responses. Was this an intentional assault? Who is really in charge? More significantly, how long before the next startling discovery upends the hip-hop industry and beyond? The attack on King Harris in the prison had an instantaneous and explosive aftermath. Chaos ensued on social media. Videos of the attack, hazy but terrifying, went viral more quickly than wildfire. Every second, every perspective, and every shout was examined by fans, reporters, and influencers. Was this a well-thought-out attack or a random act of violence? Insider information from anonymous sources indicated the latter. They were fully aware of the best time and location to attack. This wasn't a random incident, one purported witness tweeted. The hashtags, Kang Under Fire, ICU Crisis, and T.I. BEGS inundated timelines within hours, each garnering a digital scream of indignation, terror, and concern. This was strategy. Reports that had been leaked started to appear, creating an unsettling image. Some claimed that guards had been given specific orders to neutralize King Harris, which were said to have come from higher-ups in the jail system. According to details in these records, the attack was planned with an accuracy that seemed unthinkable in a prison setting, which is meant to be chaotic. Who issued these directives? Was the Harris legacy being manipulated by an outside force, a systemic conspiracy, or an inside grudge? Although there was uncertainty, rumors were enough to create a media frenzy. Public responses, meanwhile, were strong and sharply split. On one side, ardent supporters of Ty and King Harris charged the government with misuse of authority, corruption, and cruelty. How can they be so cruel to a young man? On the other hand, detractors argued that being the son of a celebrity has repercussions, that prominent prisoners draw attention, and that King Harris might have made enemies before entering the prison. One widely shared tweet posed the question, "Fame doesn't make you untouchable, but it shouldn't make you a target either." The argument heated. Anger, anxiety, and incredulity were expressed in the comments. Every post gets more viral than the one before it. According to accounts, the atmosphere within the prison was tense. According to reports, other prisoners discussed the attack in whispers, with some offering assistance and others remaining silent out of fear of reprisals. A scene of disarray and terror was depicted by alleged audio leaks from cell blocks. One alleged prisoner stated, "He got jumped bad," in a video that went viral on the internet. They didn't just hit him, they tried to break him. Whether the audio was real or fake, it was enough to make viewers sweat. All of a sudden, the story was about more than just a brawl. There was a serious crisis with potentially fatal consequences. King Harris's prison history, known affiliations, and the circumstances surrounding the attack were all examined by investigators. Financial disagreements, possible rivalries, and unsaid tensions were rumored to have contributed to the violence he experienced. One anonymous tip suggested that the whole thing might have been planned by a shadowy character who had a grudge against T's empire. Was it retaliation, avarice, or just the excitement of witnessing a well-known family fall apart under duress? As social media heightened the panic, each idea gained popularity and became more sinister than the last. Ty responded by becoming more visible in public. He was seen shouting, pacing, and begging on several Instagram lives. In one video, his voice cracked as he declared, "I will not allow my son to die in this manner. All those who are accountable will respond. Who they are doesn't matter to me." Memes, response videos, and opinion articles exploded on the internet as a result of these unfiltered emotional outbursts, turning T.I.'s emotional state into a major storyline in and of itself. The public was watching every second, and it was impossible to ignore the mixture of fear, anger, and desperation that consumed the father. As the intensity increased, phony investigative reports started to circulate, with some claiming that internal cameras recorded conversations between guards prior to and following the attack, suggesting premeditation, and others posting doctor documents purportedly showing orders from unnamed officials. The authenticity of these leaks was questioned, but the impact was undeniable, with millions of people believing that a conspiracy was in progress. Every day brought new allegations, new pictures, and new perspectives, further solidifying the scandal into viral notoriety. Public figures also weighed in. Social media polls asked fans who they believed was at fault: the prison system, the guards, or King himself, and the results were almost evenly split, reflecting the confusion and intensity surrounding the event. Behind closed doors, T.I. reportedly consulted with private security experts, lawyers, and former correctional officers in an attempt to understand how a single attack could unfold with such precision and brutality. Allegedly, there were discussions about potential legal action, media strategy, and public statements aimed at controlling the narrative. Every move was strategic, but the emotional weight of seeing his son in critical condition made every decision. T.I. was operating in a delicate balance between calculated strategy and raw, unfiltered emotion, according to insiders. Meanwhile, fans continued to spread footage and rumors, with some claiming King Harris was moved to the intensive care unit, ICU, in critical condition, while others suggested he was stabilized and in recovery. Each post sparked intense discussions about responsibility, authenticity, and motive. Did the guards act out of protocol or personal grudges? Were other inmates involved? Was this part of a larger plan targeting the Harris family? The story also spread to include financial and reputational harm. Sponsors reportedly started re-evaluating contracts with the Harris family, evaluating risk and possible consequences. Streaming platforms reportedly changed their content promotion strategies, fearing backlash or being linked to controversy. Music executives, promoters, and industry insiders all rushed to comprehend the ramifications. The emotional and financial stakes collided, transforming a single incident into a complex scandal with unending repercussions. As the crisis progressed into its second day, anonymous sources alluded to possible internal investigations. Some guards were reportedly already being questioned, while others were warned about future scrutiny. The emotional weight grew with each clip, post, and leak, highlighting the fact that the story was far from over. Fans, journalists, and commentators began to construct intricate timelines of events leading up to the attack, with some claiming to have knowledge of secret meetings, internal rivalries, and whispered threats that could have escalated tensions. The veracity of these claims remained unverified, but the viral spread of each theory further entrenched public fascination and horror. The theories involving external players followed, with some speculating that rival music executives, media moguls, or underground figures saw an opportunity to destabilize the Harris family for their own benefit. If the prison attack was only a prelude to a much larger plot, not only King and Ty, but their entire network of influence in the music, business, and social spheres could be affected. The emotional stakes were high, made even more so by the possibility that there were hidden forces at play. By the third day, the story had made headlines around the world, with news outlets highlighting the alleged brutality, fan communities debating endlessly, and social media amplifying every leak. The emotional tension remained at a fever pitch because millions of viewers were emotionally invested in the outcome, and King Harris's fate had come to represent larger issues: power, privilege, vulnerability, and the frailty of even the most public lives. Fans held their breath, media outlets prepared coverage, and T.I. reportedly braced for the worst, knowing that the next revelation could either vindicate or devastate his family. As this comes to an end, one thing is clear: the King Harris scandal has grown far beyond a single incident. Rumors of yet another leak started to circulate, claiming that security camera footage of the moments leading up to the attack was about to be released online. If true, it could completely rewrite the narrative, exposing motives, identifying perpetrators, and shocking viewers beyond belief. The world watches in suspense. King Harris's life is in jeopardy, and the fallout is expected to be catastrophic. And just when it seems like we've seen it all, the next chapter looms, one that could redefine the entire scandal, revealing hidden agendas, shocking alliances, and consequences that no one, not even T.I., could have predicted. As the world began to settle over the horrific prison attack, King Harris remained in the intensive care unit, hooked up to machines that beeped. Every new leak, social media post, and anonymous tip only serves to fuel the fire. Ty, distraught and heartbroken, roamed the hospital hallways with his phone glued to his hand, reading countless updates, leaks, and fan theories. Every second counts, he allegedly told his inner circle, because we can't afford mistakes. Every sound served as a reminder of his precarious condition. Not right now. Indeed, every second counted, not only for King's survival, but also for the Harris family's empire, legacy, and reputation. There were still rumors circulating regarding the attack's masterminds. Some claimed that rival music industry figures had banded together, seeing a chance to undermine T.I.'s power, while others suggested that some prison employees may have carried out orders from an unidentified outside source. This isn't only about fists and retaliation. According to anonymous insiders who alluded to hitherto unidentified alliances that were developing behind closed doors and that threatened to change the face of Southern hip-hop. This is chess and everyone is a pawn. Even the king himself, one source said. The tension and intrigue were evident, and public reactions reached a fever pitch. Fans vehemently defended King and T on social media, while critics conjectured about their weaknesses. Hashtags such as Our Save Karis, Our Justice for the King, and T.I. family legacy trended globally. Memes of the ICU scene were shared alongside T.I.'s desperate social media tirades, and comment sections were flooded with outrage, emotional pleas, and conspiracy theories. The story had transcended hip-hop circles and had become a worldwide sensation that had captured the attention of millions of people. Legal pressure also increased, and lawyers started to delve into every detail of the incident. There were rumors of possible lawsuits against the prison system and those responsible for King's near-fatal attack, which could take years to resolve, potentially costing millions of dollars in damages, and permanently altering the system's sense of accountability. The Harris family reportedly endured a great deal of emotional turmoil behind the scenes. According to a purported insider, even if he makes it, the trauma will be with him forever. Ty was worried about the psychological effects in addition to his son's physical survival. Fear, anger, and helplessness combined to create a pressure cooker environment that mirrored the chaos outside, and industry reactions were equally intense. Ty's other family members were reported to be equally distraught, and their private grief was now transformed into a public spectacle as cameras and reporters relentlessly followed them. Record labels reportedly reassessed projects tied to the Harris brand, taking into consideration potential financial risk and public backlash. Controversy can sell, one insider said, but this is beyond anything we've ever seen. Other artists and collaborators also voiced their opinions, with some offering to support King Harris and others being more cautious, not wanting to be drawn into a high-profile legal and emotional mess. It's tragedy, not just scandal. The strain increased when more leaks surfaced. King Harris's condition was depicted in alleged security film and hospital clips that went viral, igniting intense discussions on its veracity and purpose. According to some, the video was edited to provoke the greatest amount of public indignation. Others maintained that it was real, an unvarnished look at the results of unbridled violence and structural failure. The stakes were raised with each disclosure, resulting in a frenzy of conjecture, strong feelings, and passionate internet discussion. Additionally, the story took a political turn. Public debate was dominated by worries about jail safety, accountability, and monitoring, which apparently put pressure on local government authorities to respond to the situation. The system was criticized for failing to protect prisoners, especially well-known ones like King Harris. The wider discussion now included topics like institutional carelessness, corruption, and the vulnerability of people detained, resulting in a complex scandal that went beyond hip-hop culture and entertainment. At the same time, T.I.'s efforts to steer the story grew more apparent. He made passionate video declarations demanding justice and openness, speaking to the media directly with a mixture of anger and sadness. He said, "My son deserves better. There will be repercussions for all those involved. This is over." There was a strong public reaction. Millions of people expressed solidarity by interacting with the content. Outrage and worry. A major element that brought attention to the scandal's emotional and human costs was T.I.'s reputation as a parent and protector. Suspicions were still being fueled by anonymous sources. The assault on King Harris, according to some, was more than retaliation. It served as a warning. Others alluded to lingering dangers, implying that conflicting groups were still attempting to take advantage of the confusion. According to reports, the medical setting turned into a strategic and security battleground. Every moment and every choice carried a great deal of weight as T.I.'s squad worked non-stop to keep King safe. When fresh information about King Harris's crucial moments in the intensive care unit emerged, the dramatic climax was reached. According to reports, doctors detailed times of instability, when it was unclear if he would survive and the intricate medical procedures needed to keep him alive. Whether completely true or over the top, the descriptions conveyed a sense of fragility and catastrophe that held fans everywhere in suspense. King Harris's struggle became a worldwide spectacle as a result of the emotional intensity being heightened by social media posts, reaction videos, and live streaming. Legal professionals hypothesized that future inquiries would broaden to encompass allegations of negligence and conspiracy, investigations and actions taken to hold those accountable. Authorities, T.I. and his family had to negotiate a difficult terrain of emotion, strategy, and public opinion as a result of the extraordinary scenario brought about by public outcry, media attention, and legal pressure. There were now possible repercussions for one's reputation and legal status for every leak, statement, and rumor. New rivalries and alliances arose as the narrative progressed. In support of King Harris, supporters organized awareness campaigns, fundraising events, and petition drives. In the meantime, critics took advantage of every slip-up, stoking stories that cast doubt on the family's judgment and credibility. As the polarization grew, a digital atmosphere of ongoing discussion, conjecture, and drama was produced. Then the final revelation arrived. There were rumors of another planned leak that purportedly contained material that may link unidentified individuals to the assault and show evidence of larger schemes against the Harris family. As fans, reporters, and insiders awaited the next round of disclosures, the suspense around this leak generated an emotional crescendo. The emotional stakes could not have been higher, and the strain was evident. The story reached its peak of intensity in the last few hours. King Harris, surrounded by family and medical personnel, remained in serious condition. At his side, T remained watchful, a personification of unadulterated passion, resolve, and despair. Millions of people watched, shared, and speculated about the emerging story as public interaction reached a fever pitch. The scandal had grown beyond its original parameters, changing turns into a tale of perseverance in the face of unfathomable hardship, survival, treachery, and the search of justice. A pivotal moment in viral celebrity drama was the tale of King Harris's struggle, the horrifying prison attack, and the ensuing fallout in the family, business, and public conversation. Even if this chapter comes to an end, it is still unclear how the Harris family will bounce back. What secrets might still come to light, and who will be held responsible for the mayhem that transpired? Because in a world of viral scandals, fame, and power, the conclusion is never truly the end. Every leak, rumor, and twist keeps influencing opinion, igniting the worldwide dialogue and reshaping perception. As spectators and admirers, all we can do is watch, respond, and bide our time until the next revelation ignites the world once more. King Harris is now on the brink of death after witnessing everything. With T pleading for his son and the world being rocked by leaked film, it's time to consider who is truly at fault. Was there a great plot involving power, treachery, and retaliation, or was this merely a vicious jail attack? Every moment that has passed has rocked an empire, and you are now seeing directly that no one is secure in the shadow of notoriety and power. What are your thoughts? Will King live? Can T.I. preserve his family and legacy? Or will his name and career be forever marred by this scandal? And is this confusion being exploited by Boozy or by someone else? In a case like this, views are power, so share your thoughts in the comments section. And keep in mind, there is yet more to this story. Olaf gives you drama bolder than the headlines and truths more shocking than you can think at Gossip Spill vibe. So if you want to see every leaked tape, surprising twist, and controversy before anyone else does, press the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Recall that secrets don't remain concealed. Scandal. Scandal.